You ready, mate?
Welcome to HQ Extra. I'm Wayne Healy, and joining me is a full panel tonight with a special guest, Chris Buckley, Ian McLean, and none other than Kieran Pilkington. Welcome to the show, mate. Congratulations on the Ned's Whiskey beating the HQ Challenge there. We'll get that over and done with you.
We'll come back to it.
Yeah, complete amateur night tonight. We apologise for being so late. We've got a lot of gremlins. Rob's really screwed up. There's no one else to blame. Ian turned up about 3 minutes ago.
On call.
As you can see, Pilko washed his hair out in the shower just here and jumped in, and Bucko turned up. Oh no, I didn't even know he was coming. So
Put the
here we go.
IV out.
Mate, so,
Put the IV out, yeah, basically.
so the amateur night tonight, so I apologise for that. And but welcome, boys. Welcome to the show. Bucko, how you feeling?
Mate, slowly getting better. I'm feeling pretty good today, but been a bit of a battle, but we'll get there, mate. A couple more weeks, I think I'll be 100% fighting fit, ready to go. But before we go any further, I just want to make a quick mention. Wayne Healy's birthday today.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Happy birthday to young Hollywood Healy.
We're not going to sing it, but
No, we're not.
That's all right.
He also shares a birthday with my old man, so happy birthday.
Yeah,
Dad.
Les, happy birthday, Les.
Les do, yeah.
Actually, before I get to you and say, I'm very humbled and honoured. I've had over 250 people today wish me happy birthday, so very, very honoured and
It's pretty. That's
wow,
pretty good,
I
Baz.
just yeah,
He was at the shopping mall and they all just
just like seen it, and so to all those people out there,
Is that from all your faithful
I
followers?
haven't had a chance to get everyone to like it. I'll do what I do, but thank you very much for taking the time out and wishing me a happy birthday. I feel very honoured and privileged that everyone took their time out to do that for me. So thank you very much. Macca, how you been, mate? What's been happening? Big couple of weeks?
Yeah, no, it's been a big couple of weeks for everyone, and I guess I'm no different. So, no, it's been an interesting few weeks, and I think we've all got a lot of things to share about it. So, yeah, looking forward to a bit of a wrap-up and how everyone in the rest of the country's gone. And obviously we had the HQ Extra Cup, the inaugural HQ Extra Cup Saturday and Sunday a week ago. And we've got a chance to do a full recap on that at our next show, when we can do a sort of bit of a special edit on that one and really put it all together well. So
Yeah, Michael from Chrismic's putting that all together for us, and I think it's going to be a pretty special show. So make sure we all join in for that one. See what he's
Absolutely,
done.
and speaking of Michael, he's here having a little social look around and helping us out.
I had a glimpse of it tonight, actually, when he got here, of
Yep.
what he'd already put together, and it looks pretty special. So make sure you
same.
tune in for that
Yeah.
one next show. It'll be great to watch and see. And a big thank you to all the guys and Kieran and a couple of the old fellas that came back for
how
the.
good was it?
Not
good
saying
was
you're
that?
old. The old fellas.
there was a
mate.
fine line, and every time I sort of started thinking that, I'm kind of going, where do I stop? Because there was guys that have come back that haven't raced for a while, and it's not that they're the legends or the older sort of generations. Even Brandon Wanlum.
Yeah.
I keep mentioning Ian Wanlum, but Brando hasn't raced as long as Ian hasn't, let alone Kieran,
Yep.
let alone a few of the other guys as well. So I just, look, out of that whole thing, I just hope we put a foot in the door that we can get some people sort of back into the sport, and even the interest that it sort of had, having those people sort of back in. And Kieran's wife's a prime example. She watches the show again now.
and all his friends tonight too.
Got no choice tonight.
Speaking of the devil, mate, welcome to the show. Thank you for taking your time to come and join us.
No,
Mate,
no.
and jumping back in our HQ after all this time must have felt good.
Yeah, it did, mate. It was good to be back in the cars, actually, for a change. So it's, bit of about 4 or 5 laps on Friday, and it felt like old times. It was good to get back in and have a crack again. So we, it's good.
You say back in the car because you've been on dirt for a bit lately, haven't you?
Yeah, last 12 months, mate, I've been doing a bit of speedway stuff. A little bit of a change out of what I did. I sort of been doing asphalt all my whole career, and we've moved over to the legend car thing about 12 months ago. It's a bit of an opportunity for us to do something. And we Saturday night, which is a good thing, it's over and done with in the one night, which for me, family-wise, is a positive.
Helps, yeah.
It helps, and it's reasonably budget conscious, and it's definitely a big challenge and way out of my comfort zone of what I'm used to, been doing my whole life in motorsport.
What's the saying about the dirt track? The asphalt's only to get to the real track.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all I've been told. That's all the dirt people say, mate, the asphalt's only to get to the real track. So
So you enjoy it, the dirt?
Yeah, it's good, mate. It's good. It's enjoyable. The racing's intense. It's a whole nother level. It's a bit different. There's no sort of qualifying. You turn up and it's just draw for the heats.
All right.
So you can start front, back, in the middle, wherever, and then you qualify yourself for the feature at the end of the night and have a go from there. But it's little legend cars, mate. They're only a smaller type car, but with 22 or 24 of them on a 400-metre circuit, it's it's pretty action-packed for the time.
Like it's just echo of noise when those things get out there.
Yeah,
too.
and you can run lap on lap, like you can do 5 or 10 laps with the same guy next to you the whole way around. Constant kind of thing till you get a bit of a run going. Or
Do you have the high
moves
side?
or-
Is that how you do it? With the high side?
High, low, mate. There's usually a couple of different options depending on how the track's running for the night and what you can get onto. But
I
it's,
must say I've never done it, but I know I do a few people that have done it. They all say it's pretty awesome fun.
yeah, it's definitely good fun and something different to learn. That's for
Parramatta
sure.
you doing it? Or?
Yeah, Parramatta. We haven't ventured too far to Parramatta, but with COVID at the moment, we're not too sure what's going on with Parramatta. But there's a couple of country meetings coming up, hopefully down Canberra and Goulburn later this year.
It's Goulburn, which is not that far either. So.
Yeah, that's it. So we're hoping to maybe get a meeting or two going because our season kind of got cut short in March, like a lot of people's did.
Does your old man help you?
Yeah, mate, on and off, he's still there a little
When
bit.
you used to
so-
race Q, your old man was always around and yeah, he was always there. You and him were a great team. So
Yeah, no, mate, he's still involved all the time. So it's sad he couldn't come out the other weekend, but with the restrictions on crew and he wasn't sure what he was doing, so it's a little bit hard for him to get out for the weekend.
it was difficult.
But it's he's always been involved, mate. No matter what it is, he always plays a big part in it all, which is always good. So
Yeah, good.
good fun.
I haven't seen Gary for years. Is he well?
Yeah, mate, going all right, mate. He's still running the business up in Penrith there, so he's doing that. So doing breathalyzers in a lot of like people's cars these days, which keeps him fairly busy up there.
It is Mount Druitt.
In Penrith?
No, Penrith, mate. There's a few of the locals have a couple too many on a Friday night and do that, but it's yeah.
not in the riff.
Yeah, no, not at all, mate.
Ray Jardine said, how old? You'll have to have a guess, mate, and see. Well, we'll have a
Let's
guessing
have a guess.
competition.
Yeah, that's a good
Let's
idea.
have a good guessing competition. Pretty sure everyone will pretty much guess it, but anyway.
Probably kept about a hand.
Put it this way, I'm older than that and a little bit younger than you.
You've already had your milestone.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Thanks,
It's one
mate.
after it.
Oh, good on you.
Can we say
Yeah,
that?
that's it, yeah.
Yeah,
Just make it real easy for him,
22.
mate. Yeah, go on. Lots to talk about. Look, but to be honest, we don't have a show of our great sponsors, so I'd love to thank our sponsors, Osborne Transport, CR International, Harvey's Towing and Mechanical up in Queensland, fantastic guys, Ready Strip, Asset Plumbing, Curveways Asphalting. We also got Command Digital, Hands On First Aid, and Equity Views Constructions that come on board and helped us out over the HQ Xtra Cup, which we've got all the shirts, and we never give them out because
Wayne's got the shirts in his boot of his car.
because we were too busy
That's why it's
changing motors, changing gearboxes, and because they didn't let anyone in the track, one person in the track.
It was hectic.
I had two cars there because I let Rob get in there and beat me in my own car. That was great. Thanks. Why is everyone happy about it? This is my birthday. This is my birthday. You do realise
we're giving
that it's
back.
one day a year that you've got to be nice to me.
You give it out all year, we're giving it back to you
Yeah,
today.
great. Yeah. I ran around for 6 bloody bottle shops to get these Ned whiskey, and you can only get it through bloody ordering it through online. Wow. Thanks, you could have told me.
You don't put enough care and effort into...
Yeah, mate. Yeah. All right. Yeah, you turned up at what time?
How'd you go the Xtra Cup?
Oh, look, 51 Deering. Well done. Good guess. 60 Bruce Heinrich. Really? How old mentally and physically? Yeah, good point. That's a good point. We'll leave that one. Thanks, Kenny. But look, what's it called? We had a great HQ Xtra Cup, which we'll like I said, we're going to put a show aside.
We'll talk a bit more about it later on.
And like I said, it was great. And that one person, there was one person, actually there's a couple of people I wanted to say thank you to, especially on my behalf, was Peter Dane to come over and done quicker times than I did. Jumped in the car and had a ball. This guy's a dead set legend. It's not much about car setups and what he knows. But then Jeff Barbara turned up, your old car.
Yeah.
He owned your old car. He turned up, and this guy looked like a hillbilly out of nowhere. And
With a camper on tow, he was set.
Looked like he was the homeless guy out there. Mate, let me tell you, I learnt so much from that guy in one weekend. From him and Peter Dane, it was unbelievable. Those guys were unbelievable.
Never stopped doing something, and look, I was exhausted by the end of the weekend anyway, so I don't know how those guys are feeling out of context, but they, like you said, Jeff was absolutely phenomenal, and his and Peter's approach to things was just so methodical.
Yeah.
We've changed a motor, and we've got some some footage on that later on, but I've never enjoyed changing a motor so much in my life. It was fun. It wasn't work. It wasn't arduous. It wasn't just that tedious, frustrating you just want to get stuff done. It was
it was one of those weekends where I had the 4 seasons of emotions. I had happiness. I had sadness. I had disappointment. I had I was in awe of these guys, and I just had everything in that weekend. But just again, I was cursed, and
But your car went well.
my grey car beat me. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, great. That's just
Had some issues, but
Yeah.
Can I just quickly tell you a funny story? Because I actually came out there on Friday to see you guys and say good day. And I'm talking to Morky. You know how Morky likes to talk, right?
really?
And there's one we haven't mentioned. There's one we haven't mentioned.
Let me tell you a story, right? Anyway, I'm chatting to Morky, and he's talking about the old days, and he's talking about, and I said, oh, Ian's car, that was Jeff Barbara's old car. Mind you, he'd been there all morning talking with Peter Dane and Jeff Barbara. And he goes, yeah, I remember Jeff Barbara. Didn't know that the guy stared at him too.
Was him.
He goes, shit, he's got a big long grey beard, he's got all this long hair, and when I last time I saw you, a young bloke, you know, at the front of the HQ field, you know, and it's hilarious.
He won a couple of
because-
championships, didn't he?
He did,
Oh,
yeah.
you did? Yeah.
It's just hilarious. So Morky's been talking to this bloke all morning, and like I said, you know how much he likes to talk. He would have been talking about the old days, and
was
didn't
just the
realise
bush-
that
the
this
bush
bloke
look.
that he'd been talking to was Jeff Barbara. So it was quite funny, and I think Morky had a ball too. Unfortunately, he couldn't hang around for the whole weekend, but I think
He was trying to get rid of his driver on the Sunday. He's like, no, I want to stay with you guys, but I've organised everything for
Yeah.
other drivers to drive with him. Otherwise, he would have stayed for the
Yeah,
weekend.
no, mate, it was a pleasure to have him.
No.
And like Kenny talk with a mouthful underwater, marbles underwater, absolutely. But
He outdoes us
he had
together,
some,
a
he had
collective
some
group.
great. You could listen to it all day though. That was a good thing.
Oh,
So
fascinating.
it was really good. So
It was just really good to see those guys there. I think-
great. Look, like I said,
Good for the category.
We'll touch on that more. Let's look at the other, a couple of probably community service announcements really too. With Victoria, the 4-hour coming up. They're pushing hard. The borders are still closed. We all know. They're hoping to have the sub-regs out next week and entry forms all started. Fingers crossed, boys. We're doing the best. They're doing everything their committee can do to get the 4-hour to happen. We got everything crossed that it will. It's a massive event, and let's hope that happens.
Look, unfortunately, with the current situation with Queensland's borders, I don't see anyone going up to the Queensland for their
And
one.
we were just about to get onto that one there. So Queensland 1 hour in the 23rd, 24th, 25th weekend. Big weekend, Queensland. It was a great event last year. We went up there to.
Awesome.
We didn't race, but me and you went up there, and
Really
a
good.
few of the guys who went up there, and it's just going to be a shame if they don't let people get in there because it's. Well, you've got what, 3 weeks? Not even that now.
Mate, it's not even. I can't see it
It's
happening.
The
going to be
last-
too
yeah,
hard.
last start date was beyond that,
It's
so,
going to be
yeah.
a shame. Oh, look, don't get me wrong. It wouldn't surprise me if a handful of guys said, "Yeah, bugger it, let's go. We're going to go up there." And let's hope they do.
If it
And let's hope
happens.
they do, because let me tell you, Queensland and the Harvey boys and everyone up in Queensland has been nothing but full support for HQ Extra and HQs around Australia. So they deserve every
It'd be great
support
to be
they
able
can.
to support them.
And
Yeah.
heads up to the AMRS as well. So
Absolutely, yeah.
They were the guys that included us in,
Matt, yeah.
in their category, and Matt was absolutely fantastic, and everyone involved in that.
Easy to work with, isn't he? He's
Just a
nothing
dream.
seems to be a problem with that guy.
And
I love it.
and again, very methodical. Like the way our race sort of went together, and there was unique things that they'd never come across. So we were sort of throwing things in, and how the stops went, and all those types of things. And it was a two-way conversation through all of that.
Yeah.
But they're following that in a lot of ways in the Queensland sort of side of things. So thanks to them, and I think they'll keep an eye on the border deadline. Normally there's not a lot of leeway, 2 weeks in and entries and things like that, but I think they'll pretty much sort of leave it to the last minute to wait.
Leighton Cranbrook straight away said, "I'm in for the Queensland 1 hour if allowed in." So,
Yeah, so hopefully
and
that's the case.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Harrisons got through 5-6 cars up there,
On a
going
truck,
straight
and
up.
off they went
Off
too.
they
Yeah.
went up as
Yeah,
well.
that'd be
Not to mention, like you wouldn't, Joel and Heinrichs might go up there if they can get it. No, I'm just
Yeah, hypotheticals, but
hypotheticals and
It'll be a handful
stuff
of
like
cars.
that.
Yeah.
It'd be
So
good to do.
not to mention that I had a phone call from Scotty Caldwell from Tassie
Yep.
to give me the heads up on what's happening with Tassie early next year in January.
Oh, it's a cracker, isn't it?
It's a cracker, mate. So the 24th, 25th, 26th weekend, I think it is,
Yep.
is the first weekend of a double header down that weekend.
yep.
What a way to start the new year.
Yeah.
The 50th 50th anniversary of HQs. It's where HQ started racing in Tassie to have a double header, Baskerville, Simmons Plains, 1 week after the other. Get your car down there, do a massive weekend where it all started. Tick the bucket list off and say you've
Stay there a
And
week.
go to Tassie for a week as well.
Go
Look
to
around when
Tassie
you're
for
there.
a week and
Yeah.
do that at the end of school holidays. In New South Wales, it's towards the end of school holidays, so you might be able to squeeze a holiday in type thing. Mate, that is a massive weekend. Here we go, South Australia, the Bend.
October 31st.
There you go.
November
October
1st.
31st, November 1st. See, massive. See, we can get into that one. Hey, there we can get. Someone's vibrating. Is that? Well, you got something in your pants again? What did I tell you about that on the show?
No, it's
All right, now listen, mate. Don't bring your wife's toys here.
Your
They're
birthday gift, mate.
That's a new meaning or birthday gift, isn't it?
ironically, it was my wife just giving me some tips as to how to posture. She's
You're amongst a couple of fat boys here.
I know.
And you're worried about your posture.
A few fat boys here.
anyway. You're
You're
right.
probably the good-looking one out of all of us.
The male
You
model
got the
from there
most
up.
hair.
Hey? Male model for Mudgy.
Mark, yeah, right.
What do we call him? What's his name?
The male model from there.
Kenny Sutcliffe.
That's right.
Kenny. What do you got to call you,
That's
Kenny?
an old go cutting. And we'll get to Kieran's story shortly. But no, you're right. It's with the ARG group down in
Well,
Tasmania.
there you go. So Darren Jenkins, if you can get us more information on that, mate, that'll be great. We'll throw it up on our website. The Bend, 31st of October. That is not.
that's 3
Not
weeks.
impossible.
That's not impossible. That's one track I really want to do. I'd love to do.
Yep.
If anyone can build me a decent motor, that is.
Motor Swine, how's that motor in that car?
Worked great for
Yeah,
me.
I
Whole
thought so.
1 hour.
Yeah.
Did anyone ask you to talk? Do you have a microphone on? You're behind. You'll be
One
behind.
hour when I finished the race.
Remember, this is my birthday. You've got to be nice. Got to be nice.
I looked after your car for you. You're welcome.
Yeah, you go. Great.
No damage?
No damage, just scratching.
Wow.
Oh, you went
Whole
that.
hour.
You went that fast that
No,
that no.
not fast.
No, exactly.
Well done,
Shit,
Rob.
but
But had fun.
You still beat me though, didn't you?
Well done, Rob.
Yeah.
Yes.
So look, guys, there's massive. Like I said, we'll get some more information. That's not fully confirmed or booked in the Tassie one, but I just think that would be one of the best things if we could get as many cars
It'll be
down to Tassie to
Huge
start.
because ARG
That is
just
huge.
cancelled the November Bathurst meeting.
Yes,
So
today.
That will be their first round, which is all of their support categories, but in their cluster anyway. So it's touring car masters and things like that. So
Yeah.
they're all looking forward to a massive retro sort of week or fortnight in there too. So.
Yeah. Well, it's. I'll probably looking at that being my 30th wedding anniversary on Australia Day. I'll probably miss the first week. Okay.
It's a good opportunity. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I've never been to Tassie. I always thought, I'd like to go there. So,
I'd like
people
to
who who've
maybe-
one day going to go over there,
yeah.
put the car on a boat, go over, check it out
Maybe
for
I
a
can
week.
convince the missus to say, hey, let's go over there for a holiday.
What more romantic thing could you do than take her to a race meeting?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, she thinks I'm an idiot for buying another car anyway, so. And she even told me on my birthday. I seen her for 5 minutes and just roasted me. But anyway, I suppose what's different, huh? Everyone else does. Happy birthday, you idiot. Close the door.
Have we got a couple of race meetings to talk about?
We do,
And-
actually.
and we'll get on to Kieran as well.
We do, yeah, for sure. Plenty to talk about. We'll start off with Queensland, I think. Queensland sounds good.
Let's do Queensland. As
Queensland.
They were what? Catch.
Mate, good field of 15 cars up there for that.
Which was good, including we've got some great footage here from
From Harvey's.
the number 69 up there, so
Yep.
Joe, and it's
He's leading the championship. The
Oh,
Godfather.
for real?
The Godfather is
Well
leading the
done.
championship, I
Well, I
believe.
don't know what happened to him in qualifying because he was 13th. So, Joe, what happened?
Tell you what though, it looks like he got a great start there. Looks
Yeah.
like his son-in-law moved over for him.
Yeah.
Give him a bit of room.
I think that's is that Brock Mitchell in the 58 car?
I think it is.
and
Good
the
to see.
returnee is the now president Ben Simpson.
Yeah, on a
Actually,
budget.
Yeah,
Ben Simpson on a budget, mate.
had a run, so he was up there having a.
That's
So
great.
Ben has Ben taken the reins, has he?
Oh, it was just from when
Interim.
I was
Okay.
going to say.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
their change.
Yeah, well done to him, mate, because he hasn't raced for a while. It's good to see him. He's a long supporter of HQs around the country, so good on you, Ben. I'm glad you had a good weekend. But anyway, qualifying. I'm just going to tell it to be known now. Brendan Madden's clean swept it again.
He's on fire.
He's very hard to beat up there, isn't
He's
he?
had 2 broken hands and he's come back. He's done well, hasn't he?
Car's doing well too.
He's, well, mate,
That was the new. car,
obviously, I believe Ben Simpson's doing the motors for
It
him,
is, yeah.
and they're holding together, mate. They don't look like they have had any troubles with their motors at all.
except his wheels.
So, sorry.
Except the wheels.
Well, that's Scotty
Wheels
just
fell
keep losing wheels.
That's actually Nathan Locke in that finesse car there.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, qualifying.
It looks good, doesn't
It
it?
does
I
look
said
good.
it was green at the start of the year. White and green.
No, different car, but yeah,
car.
the Zoomer signs
Yeah.
vehicle does look excellent. Brendan Madden again on pole. Brock Mitchell in second. Dion Sedoni, a good sort of comeback, well, it's not his comeback race, but a comeback year. He's doing very well. Ty Gray, Jake Madden, Kyle Lovering, Nathan Locke, Bruce French, Derek Risley, Justin Van Twist, Ben Simpson, Artie Jonick, Joseph Hendrisky, Mark Strackham, and Neil Jeffers.
Good
So
numbers.
actually,
That's good numbers.
They ran the short track too.
They did,
so
yeah. They didn't do the back straight. They
Big
went,
handbrake halfway down the main straight,
Yeah.
turn right.
I was wondering what because I was going. Geez, they're coming up to that.
It's a bit rough, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
we were there last year for that race, as you said, Wayne. And some people say it looks pretty boring, but I think it'll be an awesome track to race.
Oh,
on.
it'd be a great track to
Reminds
race.
me
A
of
hair clip.
Wakefield with like
What do they call it?
just
The
a compact.
The
It's great race,
no,
race.
paper
Paper clip.
Yeah, paperclip, yeah. So anyway, we'll on to race one. Let's get to the top 5 for this. But Brandon Madden then took out race 1 with a lap time was very similar though too. He's doing the top 5 is
Was
within.
there a big distance between first and second?
No, well look at that lap time. Actually, second place was quicker than him. Brock Mitchell had a quicker lap time. Than
Oh,
him.
there you go.
So the racing was very close, and the finish was like 0.2 of a second in it. So it is close racing. There was Brandon Madden in first, Brock Mitchell second, Dion Sidoni in third, Nathan Locke fourth, and Ty Gray in fifth. So those guys all within, pretty much within a second. Or dead.
Not a lot in it,
No,
was there?
no.
It was absolutely incredible.
So some, as you can see from the footage, some really good racing. And again, the great numbers. Like for what it's been 15 cars. It's pretty good to have that up there. And I think it's
Oh,
gonna
great numbers.
continue-
Great numbers in such a
continue
short
to-
notice.
Yeah.
Because they same thing. They only acquired the date 2 weeks before,
Yeah, I think
and
so.
they got bang good numbers. And from what it was, all great racing right around.
From what we see,
What you see
It's good to
just in
see
this one.
some other guys
I mean,
coming back too.
Yeah, it's great. Oh look, if we can get everyone to come back, everyone get on board.
there's cars out
I
there.
know
There's
not
still
everyone
out there.
sees eye to eye up in Queensland at the moment, but let me tell you,
That's all right.
15 cars there on such short notice. Great job, Queensland. Well done. Keep it up. Keep up the great work.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we I don't know. Again, depends on the borders up there. But it'd be good to see them come down for the 4 hour, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure.
Well, they
there'll be
didn't do the
something.
4 hour. They didn't do the 4 hour, mate. Could you
finesse
imagine?
that,
Like
yeah.
I reckon Brandon and Scotty.
Or even Brandon and Joe.
Well,
Well, yeah, exactly. Brandon and Joe. But I mean, they would terrorise. They'd be right up there, mate.
Yeah.
still love it.
Right up there.
Two,
know?
two drivers.
It is.
It is two
No,
drivers.
I
the
know
four.
there is. So
It
it's
is.
mandatory. It's the only one really in Australia that's mandatory, though, isn't it?
That's it,
Could you imagine
exactly.
doing 2 hours by yourself?
No,
Don't
totally.
think
It'd be hard, wouldn't it?
Wayne,
Don't
how'd
think
you
so,
go?
you reckon?
Long way,
No
mate.
way.
I can't even
way.
do 2 laps, and you're worried about me doing 2 hours. There you go.
Got to admit, I was counting
Remember.
until Kieran's turn.
Birthday, be quite
Birthday,
nice.
Happy birthday.
Anyway, well, I'll pass the race 3 over to yourself.
How's,
And you
how's your posture? You all right?
Yeah, I'm alright. I think so.
Right, race 3. How many races do they get?
4.
4 races up there. Well done.
And it's all in one day.
Oh, it's a 1 day 4. Are you shitting me?
Well, that's what it says on the computer
Wow,
today.
nice. Okay, race 3. Let's see what the new boy can do.
Got it. No glasses?
Thanks, mate. Here's a challenge.
You need
We'll
glasses?
just do the top,
I'm all good, mate.
just do the
I
top
got
5, mate.
it. Brandon Madden was the winner of race 3 from Brock Mitchell by about 4 or 5 seconds. Had a little bit of pace more in that one. Dion Sidoni made the final podium spot with Jake Madden, and Ty Gray finishing as your top 5, mate.
Mate, well done.
Natural, eh?
Mate, natural. Absolutely natural. Absolutely natural, yeah. Nathan Lockett, Joe Andreski finished 7th there. I wonder what happened. He, yeah. So, go to the last race, and let's see what posture boy's got. That's what I do. I delegate well.
It is your birthday.
It is your birthday.
Yeah,
Brandon
it's not
ended up
It's sorry.
winning that one. Thanks, mate. Dion came in second, Sidoni and Brock Mitchell in third there. So it was good to see Brock up there because I don't think he was up earlier in
No,
the
he qualified up there too.
Has he been
well,
racing saloon cars
yeah.
and also
Jamie.
XLs?
Jamie, I don't know about that. I think they actually have because I know that they have got a little XL running around between them as well. Gary's
I know,
got one.
Bonwick's, yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
But
it'd be great to get
Gary
him
was
back.
back last round racing, I think.
Yeah,
It's
he
good
was
to
too,
see
yeah.
Brock back this
Yeah.
round, and
Yeah.
hopefully
Yeah,
now
get
Jamie
Jamie
smashed his
yeah.
saloon car up. He might come back and race too.
Oh, there you
He
go.
had a pretty big hit in that.
Yeah,
one.
so that was
Oh,
pretty
did I
big,
see?
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I did see
So I hope
that.
you're all right, buddy.
Oh, yeah, I
and
hope everything's
the
sorted.
car's a mess, but
Yeah, they can be
hopefully it
replaced, and
fixed.
yeah, so I hope you're doing well.
But yeah, well done. So good result and good racing from what again we've seen from the footage and the results sort of showed that over the weekend. I was keeping a bit of an eye on it. So yeah, well done to the guys. Very well done.
We don't have the championship points in front of us, but I do believe Joey's in the lead there. So
I hope you're all right.
if I'm wrong, I apologise.
Someone will tell us, mate.
Yeah, someone will let us know. But I do believe the Godfather is in the lead. Yeah.
Who else has raced?
Okay, Tassie had a round.
They did.
They did. They had a round. They had a at Basketball. I think they had a 1 day event as well. Was
That's what the
one day?
computer
I'm
said.
pretty sure. Yeah, I'm
I
pretty
saw
sure.
some in-car with Otis.
Yeah.
having a fair crack
Yeah.
down there too. So
There's a photo up on Phil Ashland's Facebook page where Otis had a
Actually,
bit of
there's a lot of stuff on Facebook that we weren't able to download to show you guys because we were hoping to have a lot more footage of the Tassie event down there. 8 cars, which is pretty good numbers considering what's happening with everyone.
It's improving all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like they had to cancel all meetings last year because of a lack of numbers, so they get,
Exactly
to get
right.
8 to 10
and now,
cars, it's good.
And now all of a sudden they get a meeting and bang, and they're getting 8 cars there, which is well done, mate.
Yeah.
Tassie guys kicking goals.
And look at, honestly, I had a look today, have a look at the lap times between the
I
top.
was
Mate,
seeing
it's
that too.
ridiculous.
It's pretty
It
cool,
is.
isn't it?
It's
From
some
first to
good
last is,
yeah.
I think, a second and a half or
It's a brilliant
something.
little
Yeah.
track.
So it
yeah.
might not be a lot of numbers, but it's some
Yeah.
pretty intense racing, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So, and
So-
I don't know if you've seen on Phil's Facebook page, he had a little, Otis had a little incident coming into one of the turns. I think he took him out.
Oh, really?
I don't know how much he took him out. But
Ooh, nice one.
yeah, I think there's a bit
I know.
more than a rub.
I know
Won't buff out.
who took someone out in their first race back in HQs as well.
Well, listen, I've seen the footage of that too. That wasn't his fault either.
It wasn't mine.
Talk about slow speed when you don't get second gear, I suppose.
Mate, four cars in the
you
turn
should have
one.
been there the first
Yeah, yeah,
place.
that's the.
Yeah,
Yeah, forget part A, right, mate. Part B isn't a problem.
At least the Greg don't go back.
I heard you predicted
Mate, no,
it
you
too.
done well.
I heard you predicted that's going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah, I hadn't been comfortable all weekend with that.
He
And
did
I'd-
say that.
I'd had about 8 attempts in the dummy,
Been a
sitting
while.
in the dummy group waiting to go. I'm like, no, just calm through, and sure enough, straight away, bang, no.
I don't
Yeah.
know. They're not sequential.
Yeah.
So we had a Tassie meeting, so let's go through the qualifying. Otis Caldwell qualified with a 106.6, a pretty good time. Andrew Bird, 106.8, so that wasn't too bad. And then you got Phil Ashland, 107 flat. Then you got Joe Rattray, 107.2. Then you got Toffee, 107.3. I mean, geez, that's not bad going.
That's what I'm saying. But you look at me, even the whole 8 cars there, really, I think there's a second and a half.
Yeah, Zachary
between them,
Bennett,
so
Neville Rattray, and then Alex Bird behind them.
It's not big numbers, but it is very good
Exactly
racing.
right, you know. So, race 1, the Viking, Otis Caldwell took it out. Phil Ashland come into second. Toffee third. Andrew Bird, Joe Rattray, Bennett, Rattray again, Neville Rattray this one, and Alex Bird in last place there in that race in the 8. But like you said, you know, the racing itself was, mate, the times are very, very good. They're very you know,
close.
very close,
That's-
which is
you can
great.
just look at that and you can tell it's
We'll
going
put
to
it
be
this way: they were
competitive racing.
within 2 seconds. Every car was in 2 seconds, no matter what,
Yeah.
of each lap time.
It's a
So,
good flowing circuit.
yep.
You sort of see it.
Looks like fun, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I've never
Off
been there,
camber
but
and-
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh look, Baskerville looks like a real fast flowing track, right?
Yeah.
Like you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Off camber, going round and.
Onto the straight.
And
sort of looks like, yeah.
You've played it on the E Series and had a muck around there. How fast and on the E Series it is just in a simulator. So
Yeah.
imagine being down there. Like you said, guys, next year, early January, if you've got no plans of racing anymore at the moment, maybe that's the go. Get down there and do a double header.
Take a week off and
Go on, you boy.
tour Tasmania.
You're doing well.
We'll have a go here. So this is race 1, isn't it?
No, mate.
do we-
Where it says race.
It doesn't say the race on that one, so it's
Doesn't really.
It was event number 12.
It will be race
So,
one,
no, it'll
because
be-
you just did quality, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yes,
No, I did race,
Race 2.
Race
Sorry,
two.
It's
sorry
race 2.
There you go.
Race 2. So Andrew Toth was your winner, down there from Andrew
Tothy.
Bird. Yeah, like so.
Otis and Phil, eh?
Yep, Joe Rattray picked up 3rd and finished the podium off with Phil Ashland and Neville Rattray in 5th.
Very good.
Top 5, mate.
Richard Palmer. Do anyone knows a Richard Palmer?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Local.
an acquaintance of mine.
Okay, I feel this would be better as a podcast, as only a faces a mother could love.
And I can imagine who the two
I'm
smiley
hoping you're
faces
talking
are
about
like that.
him there,
Yeah.
mate.
Yeah. He was a friend of mine.
Go. Righto, what's next?
Yeah.
Champion?
Okay, I think this is the trophy race there. Phil Ashland took it out. He
Wee.
got his, I think that was the first win for him for the weekend, so good for him. And Otis come back in second. Sorry, Andrew Toff in second. Otis was on the podium in third. They're having a bit of a battle, these two boys.
That's a cool photo.
That's Ashland's car, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Phil's, yeah. It's a very good looking car, that. They do spend a lot of time and effort on that car too, so it's good to see you get the results.
Yeah.
It looks like
Closely
looks like
followed.
he's gone to the.
Closely followed by.
He's followed. Well, yeah, going
He
to
might
the
need some more
dirt.
work.
The old man might not be happy with you, buddy.
There he goes.
How cool's that?
Yeah, it looks fun, doesn't it?
That's a
Looks
corkscrew.
Yeah, very good. Otis in third, Andrew Bird fourth, Joe Rattray in fifth, Zachary Bennett sixth, Neville Rattray in seventh, and Alex Bird rounding out the eighth. So, and again, mate, look, really, honestly, it dead set is less than a second and a half between the whole field in their fastest lap. So that's great. Like, again, not great numbers, but for them it's at the moment, I think they're going pretty well, and it's good to see, guys. Congratulations, well done. So,
Mate, big effort
Yeah.
from the boys racing there. So just actually, why I wanted to, before we go on, you've mentioned trophy race. Now, a question has come up before, right? How do people like to do?
well, so
round.
that's
So
why I
a
was a
lot-
bit curious. I don't know if that is a trophy race, or they might do it differently down there.
So here's my question, right? When it becomes an enduro like we had, the HQ Extra Cup, we combine the two races for points to go into the final race, which is the 1
Correct.
hour, which is a main feature, which is different. And that's your, so we combine virtually those two races like a qualifying for that race. Then you have a trophy for that race. My perception is, if you have a full round of equal races, it should be across the board of it, all three races, points and who wins the round. Shouldn't be just a trophy race. That's my opinion. In New South Wales, we have a trophy race. The other two races mean jack, in
Well,
the
they don't
sense
mean
of...
that. They mean that you find out where you're starting from.
I know it goes towards your championship points and all that, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
I understand that. But as a trophy-wise, if you have the best weekend, all right, and you say you get turned, just hypothetically, you get turned, you finish fifth, the guys in front of you, beat you, but you won the first two races, you finish fifth, yet they get a trophy,
miss
and
out
you walk
on
out,
the $15
you walk with
plastic
away
trophy.
with nothing if someone does something wrong to you. It's just a hypothetical question.
Yeah.
I'm just asking you, what do you guys feel?
What we do in
I mean, it's not
New
the
South
question of the
Wales-
week, but...
In New South Wales, we do that, right? We have two races and a trophy race, and that's how it goes for the weekend. But at the end of the year, in our presentation night, it goes down to round winners, second, third. It doesn't go from the trophy race, so you do get rewarded for the round anyway at the end of the year. Obviously, with points towards the championship. So I don't think it's.
I just like the fact you've always got an end goal. That's all.
Yeah.
You can have a spark plug fail or
Yeah.
something silly go wrong in race one, and
Yeah.
you just work towards the rest of the weekend to get a trophy. I know Kieran and I had a weekend at Oran Park in the Don Green Cup. I think it might have been Don Green Engineering Cup. That I got turned around and demolished a car. Mike Stevenson sort of ran through me and like I tore
Wasn't the only one. He ran through.
gearbox. I tore the rubber mount off the gearbox. Like the whole car literally just shook that bad. Patched the thing up. Like the thing looked like patchwork and
Race tape.
race tape, and it was absolutely horrendous. But I ended up coming second to Kieran.
Yeah.
We didn't even finish the first race. So to me, I just like the target of being able to sort of make something out of it, even if something goes wrong.
Yeah.
But that's my opinion.
South Australia, points across the board. I know Queensland, points across the board.
Yeah.
Which I think,
Well, you
look,
want
I
to
like
do- you want to
that.
do-
When there even starts, like 8 races, and there is not a trophy race, as in such like what we had, the 1 hour, like you're leading up to or something. If it's not the feature of a feature race, which is different, I believe that should be across the board. Winner takes the round. That's my opinion. I don't, like I said, you're entitled to yours, and you like what you're building up to, which is a great point.
I suppose pros and cons for everything. It's
Yeah,
the,
it is.
the other end of the stick where
get-
you might win the first 2 races, but you get sent in the last
Like I said.
one. Like you said, so you end up with nothing, or not nothing
Exactly
any weekend, but you should have got more out of it than
Exactly
what you have.
right.
So
In New South
depends,
Wales,
depends when it goes wrong, and I suppose if you're racing for
Who's on the
championships
back
and
end of
stuff, then you
Yeah.
really want to be consistent over those 3 races if that's what you're chasing at the end of the day. It's I guess.
I agree, but in New South Wales, it's actually the promoters who supply the trophies for the rounds.
Yeah.
And they call it the trophy race. And as I said, your actual points championship go towards the whole round.
Cumulative.
Yeah.
And you'll get.
Even
Thanks, Jeff.
even,
I told you it's amateur night.
but even the final's longer than the other races too. So it's why it's reflecting the longer weighted points too. But
Yeah.
good one for throwing in though.
Yeah, no, it's something like Tassie, normally quali, two 5 laps, 1 10 lap, and then a handicap 10 lap. So, again, but does that say, is that across the board, Toffee, or is that trophy race? So, I'm not sure. Again, it's horses for courses, I suppose. That's just something I just thought I wanted to throw up and see.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Speaking of amateur night, what I've done.
You haven't got any.
No, I do. South Australia, I printed this off today, and I don't know how it is, but instead of getting the South Australia combined sedans for the qualifying, I've got the Aussie Tip Top. So
How did they go? The tin tops.
The tin tops, but aren't they in the tin tops?
no, they're not.
So we don't know.
No, that's Bentleys and Porsches and Lambos and
Oh,
yeah, well,
Well, put it this way.
T02s.
Put it this way, the South Australian round was...
That's only qualifying. I've got the rest of them. I've got
Oh,
the
okay.
races. I just mucked up qualifying.
Oh, is that you only screwed up that?
Only screwed up that.
Amateur night.
So Heinrich was nowhere in that field.
Typical.
He didn't even make the page, mate. Really?
Really?
I love it. All right. They did get, what do we got? 1, 2, 4, 6, I think 8, 9 cars there. So.
Yeah, not bad.
But there was a field of about 30 cars in the what they call the South Australia Combined Sedan Series. So, race 1, Bruce Heinrich taking it out. So well done, Bruce. Good job. Darren Jenkins in second, Dave Smith third, Neil Corey fourth, Scott Vickery fifth, Lee Smith in sixth, Tim McNamara in seventh, Joel Heinrich, a DNF. I don't know what happened. So unusual. Very unusual.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure. They got a
Last one.
bit of Foxtel airtime
They did.
They did,
over the
yeah.
weekend,
On the
so which
cards
is great.
Yep.
Well
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
That was probably the weekend that was supposed to.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was the original day.
It was.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
how ironic that is. But anyway,
Bruce, if you're still watching, mate, what happened to Joel in the first race? Let us know. 'Cause, it's unusual. Honestly, it is unusual for him
I
not to.
don't. Yeah, I can't.
Not to
recall
finish,
last
so.
time. Yeah. Actually, you lost.
Hey, I'm in. All right. Since this is all over the shop,
It's hard to follow, isn't it?
It's hard to follow. No, it's quite easy actually. Then Joel Heinrich end up
Got some
Bit
footage.
of footage
Oh,
up
there
there
we go.
now.
Yeah.
some footage.
So that's the
Which is-
Foxtel.
And these 4 cars, how good are they? Like the lead was changing, or
Constantly,
changing
yeah.
constantly. So
Such a left, right.
yeah,
Like you got to pick your
yeah.
battles, pick your spots. Sort
Yeah,
of
you're
thing.
not wrong.
So,
Fuel pump was a problem. When I
Oh,
saw
there
it.
you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
Thanks, Darren.
unfortunate. Was that just let me know, Bruce? Was that electric? Because I had someone who put one in their car last weekend, a brand new electric fuel pump, didn't get out of qualifying.
Right.
That was Pete.
So yeah, spell
Always forget his
fuel
last
pump
name.
there,
Green
Bruce.
car. Pete Lynch.
Lynch.
Yeah, he put a brand new one of those new fancy Fandangle electric fuel pumps in, and it didn't
Yeah,
get
right.
through qualifying.
Fuel pump.
There's a lot of different pumps.
Fuel pump broke the pin.
Oh, it's the mechanical.
Yeah, mechanical.
Mechanical.
Pump.
Well, there you go. He's not using electric.
Where do you find that? How
Yeah.
does that happen?
Yeah.
Not the
Man,
first
they could
time I've
be-
seen it.
They could be 30 years old and still just doing the
Doing
job.
the job, yeah.
Wow.
So you obviously don't believe, Bruce, that what everyone tells me that that electric fuel pump gives you 3 horsepower. Well, if it did, you'd have one.
So it's
Exactly.
going to the bathroom before
Okay,
you go
so
too,
yeah.
but-
So Joel Heinrich, Bruce Heinrich. So
So
Joel,
he had a DNF and then he's won.
and then he's come out and yeah.
Well done, Legend.
Then Davey Smith and Jenkins, Neil Corey, which has been around forever, one of the nicest guys you meet.
Great
and,
bloke.
Virtually one of the starters, I think, when HQ started. He wouldn't be far off.
And
it.
a hard, clean race, mate. I've had
Oh,
some really
amazing.
good battles
Yeah.
with Neil over
Yeah,
the years.
he's-
and
Oran
he's a
Park, he
really-
came up one year to
His
Oran
colours
Park,
of the
remember?
car has not
Him and I
changed.
raced
I
at
believe.
Bathurst one
I've
year, and we
virtually been
went
blue
side
all
by
the
side
time.
across the top, mate. No drama in the
Oh,
world.
yeah,
And
nice.
he's
Yeah.
really
So,
nice guy.
Yeah, good bloke.
Yeah, exactly. Then we had Neil Corey, Scott Vickers, and then all the way down to Lee Smith and Tim McNamara. And that was
Again, short
race
call,
two.
short period of time before they got called up. They,
Well,
they weren't.
It's a
supposed to
shame
be there,
because
and
it would have
Weeks,
been
yeah.
it would have been
we
the
would have been
weekend.
there.
Well,
I think
would
half
have
the
been the
country would have been there.
50 cars, that one.
It would have been 50 cars there,
Next
unfortunately.
year, the
Yeah, big shame.
It's a good racing here. Look at some of the like. I think that's Bruce out in front. Heinrich, Joel's in the black. Dave Smith, and I believe that's Jenkins behind
It
them.
is, yep.
to be fair, there's a lot of positives that have come out of this year with all the challenges that we've had and the seriousness of everything else sort of going on. There's the opportunities to be on Foxtel and to get the airtime that we have, both with here in Darwin, and then we've been able to sort of put the HU Extra Cup on, and that wasn't expected. And there's been a lot of things that have happened this year that we haven't sort of really wouldn't have foreseen at the beginning of the year anyway, let alone the E-Series. It was huge in its own right too. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
This
There you
tells you
go.
how long. Yeah, you're going to say
I was
that.
gonna say, yeah.
This tells you how long Neil Corey's been around.
Leighton had his first race ever at a HQ against Neil Corey, and Leighton was 14 years of age.
There you go.
Wow. There you go. So
Neil's been
Neil
around a
Corey.
while.
Yeah.
Neil Corey,
Sure.
the dinosaur.
You wouldn't have been, obviously, you're doing dirt track at the moment, you wouldn't have seen the bend, but mate, I tell you,
Oh, I've had a look at this. I haven't been over there, but it looks like a great racetrack.
it's
And you know what? I want to
unbelievable.
give a big shout out to these guys. The cars presentation on this meeting as well.
Awesome.
For being on Foxtel was fantastic, guys. So
Yep.
Well.
to all the guys in to South Australia that raced and presented their cars, mate, the cars looked unbelievable. You've done a great show. We're very proud of you guys down in South Australia. Yes, even you, Bruce. So,
Really?
Really, yeah.
You really
Mate, they've done a great job.
Yeah,
down
well
there.
done.
Darren Jenkins,
Well done.
Dave Smith, all the guys that raced. Congratulations, guys. Well done for representing HQs around Australia on Foxtel with the V8s. So, oh, by the way, we got race 3.
Trophy race or
Well, it doesn't say it at the top of the heading, but it does say race 3, so combine one there. So,
gotta go down the page a bit, mate.
Yeah, 3/4 of the way down. So Bruce ended up coming home in that one over Joel, and then Dave Smith in third. Neil Corey, Lee Smith, Scott Vickery, and Darren Jenkins ended up with a DNF there. So he didn't end up ending the day very well, sadly. But yeah, great meeting and well done to all of them. And again, great show.
Ooh. Oh, mate, look, again, big shout out to all the guys in South Australia, done a wonderful job. And look, like you said, the 1st of November, 31st of October, 1st of November, they got another meeting at the Bend. The borders open South Australia, so any New South Wales want to go down there and race, Queenslanders, they can. It's all open.
Do you want to hold off on that?
I was actually just going to run through because actually I wanted to give a big shout out to one person that doesn't really race that well, and I thought he had an absolute ripper of a weekend.
no? I think you just you said he doesn't race well. He always races well.
Sorry, he doesn't race much. Sorry, I should say. That's what I meant to say. He's like a cult racehorse. He just turns up at the big races and always performs. Car looks always great. Very quiet. You know, he's just one of those guys that
He's another
flies
one
under the radar.
what we call a quiet
Mate,
achiever.
but, Matty Barker, mate, I just wanted a big shout out to him because he had an absolute ripper weekend. We're going to go through this show again, but Matty Barker, mate, very proud of what he done.
All weekend.
And, mate, I tell
On
you,
the money the whole weekend.
the only reason why, even Leighton will back this up, the only reason why he never won that race
Pit stop.
is because Leighton had a great pit stop because of his.
He got a
his lovely wife, Lisa.
13-second gap just out of the pit stop, and without that 13 seconds, he wouldn't have won it.
that's it.
It was
Matty Barker-
0.2 of a second over the line or
Yeah,
something like that. So,
Absolutely killer.
And absolutely flying home. Didn't do a thing wrong. Car was on song. Car looked great.
Yep.
Leighton said to me, he said, mate, these headlights just kept coming. They just kept coming, and they just kept coming, and they just kept.
Yeah.
And I had a look at it again today doing when I printed off these shoes. I checked out Matty Barker's lap times, and this is how I think this is pretty important when you're checking out a driver's form. It is like nearly every lap's nearly exactly the same. And you can do that for an hour and bring it home. To miss out by that much, well, yeah. Again, congratulations to Leighton. He won the event, but I think Matty certainly deserves some praise because not only is he looking after his own car, he looks after a lot of other people's cars there as well. He does a lot of development for
Massive behind
not
the
just
scenes.
himself, but for Baxter, Osborne, and all the other guys over there.
Massive behind the scenes.
He is.
Yeah.
He's definitely quite an achiever and doesn't always get the recognition that he deserves. So, well done, Matty. I hope you're watching, mate, because we all love you here, and congratulations on a fantastic drive and a fantastic effort.
And Dave Bruglia as well. No, great. No, it was gold. Look, to the Harrisons also done a great. Look, the cars over the New South Wales. Well, like I said, we're going to touch on that. I was the B driver in the first race, so Peter Dane started the race. We were up top. You jumped in the car second. How good was the first 8 laps of the main race? For the first 5 cars. Oh no, sorry, you were in the.
I was on the roof with you.
You were in the car.
Because
That's right.
my race was
Mate,
great.
we were up there. How good was the first 5 cars? Not to mention the other little battles, but the first 5 cars in the last race, in the first 8 laps was just unbelievable. And then all of a sudden, in the change, they come in for the pit stops, and everything changed. Yeah, hello, wife. I know you're watching. It's about I know it's my birthday.
It's your bedtime.
Yeah, it's bedtime. Hello, Linda.
Like we said, we're going to have a full show on the actual HQ Extra Cup, which will have some great footage from Chris McInnes. Michael's going to put that together for us, or he's in the middle of doing that. So I can't wait to see that next episode.
And look, like I said, we'd love to thank our CR International, big sponsors. Massive. Harvey, Brett Osborne and Ray Osborne up for the Osborne Transport. Never, ever do they ever let you down with... Mate, they have been...
Supporting us all the time.
They have been, an absolute angels for us. For the HQ
not just for us, for every HQ race.
HQ fraternity, let me tell you, Osborne's... For the next 10 years, they'll be thanked for what they've done for this category.
Yeah, I've done it for 10.
Exactly right. Yeah. And they've been unbelievable supporters from everybody.
Digital signage as well.
Command Digital Signage, but and again the new one, Equity Views Construction Group. So
Really appreciate
Jeff
that, Jeff.
jumping on board and helping us out there. Look, we got a lot of people.
And what's also good about that, and I'll just explain quickly, is that Jeff actually contacted us and asked us. Like normally, when you sponsor, you've got to go out and chase it and look for it. Jeff actually rang us and asked us, could he help out in any way, shape or form? He loves the sport, loves the fact that what we're doing here, and I think he wanted to get his name on the board with all his mates as well. So that's coming, Jeff.
Massive amounts of room there, Jeffro. Don't worry about that. Look, but not to mention, look, Kerway's Asset Plumbing on the weekend. Yep. Those guys have been phenomenal for our category to helping out. And Ready Strip, like Peter Dane coming over. I was in awe of that guy. Even at his age now, where he can just still pedal the car around just perfectly, and
he got you covered easily, mate.
Mate, teach me if he just turns around and says, right, he sits in the car, he goes, right, Jeff will do this, Jeff will do that, you do this, you do that. He sits in the car. He knows where his spot is in the seat.
Yeah.
And he don't move.
He was prominent.
He don't move. The brakes need doing. All right, let's do the brakes. Jeff Barber is out. Oh, mate, I loved it. But look, one of those great weekends, we'll have a massive talk about that.
Quick nerd thing that the RMRS was awesome to be able to sort of put through as well. They actually recorded through OBS or one of the digital forms the live timing of the 1 hour. So we don't normally get to see that. We normally get to see on a printout, and the Natsoft sort of printout for the Enduro was only lap times. They didn't have splits, or you weren't able to sort of access all of that that you normally can. But they have that live tracking, so you can literally see purple sectors, green sectors, who's doing what the gaps are, all that live.
It even tells you top speed and main
top
straight.
speeds as well. Yeah. Some were better than others.
Joe had the
Don't look at me. I didn't even get in the car for the main one. I think I got two laps in when because the car overheated. Anyway, look,
we've got plenty to talk about in our next show.
Look, to be honest, we haven't had a good chance to have a.
That's what it's all about. Yeah.
Chat. So let's try and keep everyone awake still, and we'll talk to Kieran and
have a chat.
Find out a little bit about. If you don't know about Kieran Pilko, there he is. There, look. And that car
back in the day.
Still has that car, don't you?
Still has
the original car.
That's Gary and a very young Kieran there.
Yep, the old man bought it in 1992 off Graham Apple.
I know where that is. That's at Oran Park. I used to slide my ass down the hill. I'm sure you did too. On cardboard boxes when we were kids. So
misspent youth at that place. So
many years at that place. And he had the SR5 there too.
Yes, that Hilux, mate. That Hilux outlived a lot of things, mate. Trust me.
Look at the Bogaz.
Nearly me, I think.
You've raced number 68. What's the number? Why 68?
Was the number he got given by Cams when he first started. He applied for his licence and they issued numbers in the day, and it was the number he got given, and that was. He just always stuck with it, mate.
That's the way the car looks now?
Yeah, that's now. We redid the car, about 10 or 15 years ago now, I suppose, to bring along with the Commodore Cup car we had at the time. So I resprayed it inside and out and tidied it all up and did a big refurb on it, and it's sadly not quite that pretty at the moment, sitting in the corner, but it's still
but
the same colour. Car's still in the corner, mate. It's a little bit of damage when we finished in Bathurst in 16 from memory. On it, and the engine's there ready to go back together. I just haven't had the time to put it back together and get it back together. So it's
So it's not all over and out just yet. You never know.
Oh, no, mate, look,
it could be a return at some stage.
Mate, it's one of those things. The car's been the family that long. I don't foresee us getting rid of it, mate. It's
part
just
of the family.
Yeah, mate. It's probably more loved than me most days by him. So it's and it's still
very good looking car.
Very nice looking engine bay there too.
Yeah.
And after you did do that the respray and tidy up, it was beautiful, eh? It was absolutely beautiful to look at. So credit to you and your old man for that job. And
thanks, mate.
I really hope to see you back out there one day on the track with that car again. So But you and Ian have a bit of history too for going back many years, don't you? I think a bit of go-karting.
Around for a while.
Yeah, back in I don't know when I was probably
young,
15ish or something when we first met many moons ago. Yeah, long time, mate. It's
I was still about 30.
I'm probably the reason he's here at the moment to a degree.
I think you definitely are the reason he's here at the moment.
And Gary sort of played a part in that as well. So running karts and
And Stewie's Bryson, obviously in that category too.
Stewie, I raced with Stewie as a junior in go-karts.
So we ended up sort of following that through and there's a few people that we know from karting and a couple of guys from Canberra that we used to sort of race with as well. And it's good.
Obviously, you would have been in junior national light.
No, I never run juniors.
Didn't you?
No.
He was in junior national long.
Clubman light. Yeah, no, I need long wheelbase karts. But Clubman light.
He was a senior, busy leading the junior members of Xtra at the time from the club, mate. So.
Oh, that's right. He's a bit older than you. Yes,
just a couple of years.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I got dragged in.
Mate,
That good photo, mate.
That's one of the best pictures, eh? Because your old
very
man
nice.
raced with you raced for a long time as well.
Yeah,
And you
we-
shared the car.
Yeah, we've been fortunate actually to share it at Bathurst a couple of times and a lot of Hopwoods together and stuff like that. And they've been some really, there's special weekends when you get to share them with your old man, as you guys would know. It's you don't get to do it all the time, and it's a very cool
We
thing.
normally got 5 questions you ask you, but I'm going to fire one way now. What has been your most memorable win? In that Kiwi, that is.
Probably 2 spring to mind, mate. Bathurst.
Yeah.
I think no matter it was a
Is
group
that John
2.
Augusta behind it?
No, that's actually Neil Corey.
Corey, well, there you go. It is
Oran
214, yeah.
Yeah, Doran Park. Yeah,
Heinrich.
and I believe Wayne is in the background that shot actually.
That's you in the background, Ely.
It is too.
That was a launch day.
About a half a lap,
Yeah.
roughly.
No, he's nearly on the bridge, mate. It's all right. We're just coming off.
He's still running the go-karts. And the rest of us are playing on the real track.
He turned right off the bridge. He'd forgotten.
Hang on a second. See that car just above Neil Horry's roof? That's Ian.
I think you're
And
right.
go prove that it's not.
I think you're right. Actually, it'd be Mike Stevenson who was in the background.
Even Leighton Cranbrook said you're awesome to race against as well. So
I mean, the year I started, I think 2006. I think you and him had a ding dong battle all year. Was it 2006?
Yeah, 2006, mate,
It was
yeah.
always used to at the front, and it was a massive
I
battle.
remember
Oh,
this.
yeah.
This was a Shannon's national meeting.
Yeah,
in
it
Oran
was.
Park.
So,
Yeah.
yep.
I remember that. So it was one of my first
one of
meetings.
my first meetings too.
Yeah, one of my first ever meetings. It was 2007. I remember that.
What a great
Yeah.
track.
You were flying, so it's good to have. Mate, I was rapt that you come back and had a stint with Ian and showed him how to race, and that was good.
How old were you when you first jumped in at the Kiwi?
The Kiwi. Depends if I answer the right question or not, mate. I might have. Legally, I think we did a drive day years ago. The club used to do drive days back in the day, and I was just shy of my 16th birthday, and managed to get a steer in the car with the old man at Wakefield.
Oh, Wakefield, was it?
Yeah, down at Wakefield those days. So that was first go in the car, and it was I managed to drop it fairly big time off the right hander at the top of the hill there because.
Oh, we've all done that.
I did the old thing. I rode next to him in the morning, and then decided that it was I could do exactly what he did. So I just pulled top gear and stood on the throttle and turned the car, and I'd turned in about car width too narrow into the
Didn't do
corner.
what he did it?
Nah, it didn't quite get off the corner so good. So I think about halfway through the tank slapper, he just looked at me and said, "Just let it go, mate, and park it. Just finish it and start again." But it was that was the first opportunity.
Myself and Wayne and Ian's dad's been around a long time too, but we've all been lucky enough to do that race with our old mans, and we've all had our old mans involved with it. And it is really, for me, it is. It's
100%,
awesome.
100%.
And it's not just you see it in Queensland, you see it in other states they do it as well. So it's a good thing about HQs. It is a family thing, and
And Les, if you're watching, happy birthday. It is his birthday too.
he is, mate. He'll be there. Yeah, I think I could count on my one hand how many times he's missed me watch me race out of 150 race starts. I think he's missed too many of them. So
I think it was Crook once, or he had a bum leg or something.
he travels a long way to get there too. So well done, mate. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
You're saying Wayne asked your best win. What was your best run? Like, it doesn't always have to be a win, does it?
Not always. I'm trying to think. They put me on the spot with this sort of stuff.
Not to the car after you've done a shit either. Do you? To get back in the wheel. You get that nervous one. You've got to get back in the wheel. Shit, am I in the dummy grid? Have I got time? Not that kind of run.
You always rush to the grid.
Oh, hell,
Wayne.
mate. I get there and I get, ooh. And then, you've got to race to the toilet and you've got to unzip, you've got to do this. You get it right down and, ooh. Quick! I can hear this horn. 1 minute board gone. I haven't even got my straps on. There you go. Anyway.
Probably best run in that sense, maybe that a win was Phillip Island. We went there in 07 with the National Series, and it was wet on the Sunday. Hadn't been there before, and I managed to drop the car at Honda, which just turned 3, I think, off the top of my head. Got bogged. I thought we'd get a safety car. Didn't get a safety car. The guys pulled me out of the bog. Got going again. I think I was 3/4 of a lap behind, and drove back out. I think we had 40 cars and drove back to, I think it was like 12th or 11th or 12th in the end. Set fastest lap by 3 seconds. We didn't have wets in those days with the Kumo tyres, so that was probably one of those ones that you step away from the car on a weekend like that. And it's not a huge win, but it's one of those drives where you're pretty happy with yourself at the end of it, I think, after that one. But it's
The wet does that.
yeah, that's one of those things. Yeah, the wet was just one of those deals.
Ray Jardine. Yeah, good Queenslander, this bloke. Sorry, Victoria.
Oh, you hurt someone's
mate,
feelings
so-
there.
Now we know why HQ Extra is always 10 minutes late. I don't get nervous for the show. The toilets is downstairs.
There's
It's
no
amateur night.
You think
It's
his car's hardly prepared?
You know what?
Try coming
I
up
was
with a
here
show.
at 7 o'clock. Everything done. Everything set up. All these bums turned up late. Amateur night. On my birthday, mind you. Great present, huh?
I guess I quickly mention one of the things that fondly remember about you, Kieran, when you're racing, was the year 2012. I won the championship, and me and your old man battled all year. We were neck and neck the whole year, and it came down to right near the end before I finally clinched it. But during the year, we had a race at Wakefield Park, and for some reason, I can't even tell. Maybe I was in the toilet. I'm not sure, but
It happens.
it does. I didn't hear the call up for the dummy grid, right? And I'm leading the championship. He told me it's not far behind me, and it's coming down to the wire. And anyway, someone said they're on. So I've driven up there. The 1 minute board's gone. The siren's gone off. I didn't have any race suit. I had the race suit around my waist and everything else. So I got there, jumped out of the car, and he's standing next to me. His old man was 1 and 2, whatever it was, and he helped me get dressed, get in the car. I don't know if you remember, mate. I never ever forgot it because without you doing me, I would have missed the start and probably lost the championship. So it was very, very much appreciated, and it's something I never forgot. So it just goes to show the sportsmanship.
But let's go to exactly what.
I'll do it for
Mate,
you.
at the same time, you don't want to be beaten in the dummy grid. None of us do. If you're better on the day on the racetrack, mate, you deserve the win. If you're not good enough on the day, well, you finish where you finish. But
that year.
I remember that one. It was a good battle.
It was unreal.
That's where we come from with karting. Like the amount of times I've given you motors and we've given someone else, and someone rolls over and you give them an axle, and like everyone chips in like we do with cars, and
That is
putting it together.
that is HQ fraternity right for Australia as well. Yeah. It's not just what he's done. We've all done that. I mean, there's been a couple of times where people have locked me in the toilet, not let me out, but I mean, it's I got under the door, so it was okay. It was it happens.
You always find a way out.
I wonder why I can't get an outlapping. So, but it's true. How many times has someone offered to help, or you help somebody else?
Yeah.
And that just goes to show you what
That's unbelievable. And I know
great people are.
I don't know if you remember, but probably no one else would. But it's just something I never forgot, and it just sticks in my mind all the time when I think about that year. So thanks
And
again.
as well as
mate.
that, you and your dad doing a lot of the prep and performance stuff for a while there too with the category as well. You weren't necessarily in racing at the time, but you had the dyno in the shop and
we
everything
started
you were sort of doing. So you had a lot of guys that you were helping out sort of back in the time.
Yeah,
there as well.
you've done a few.
You're trying to do all that sort of stuff,
too,
and over a period of time we were doing that, which was it was busy with development and trying to catch up to. At the time we kind of first came back in, so that mid-2000 mark when you guys were starting, Victoria were well ahead of us development race-wise compared to the mid-90s where all the states were kind of together on that, and it's sort of obviously now we've
have been pretty much the dominant state.
Oh yeah,
For a long time.
Yeah, long.
There's only been your dribs and drabs like your Bromwicks from Queensland at the time back then, and now the Maddens that are coming through, and the Osbornes that are coming through.
New South Wales has definitely
Now
stepped
taken
up
over,
now.
So like it was you and
par with
Leighton.
that.
You and Leighton were the two dominant ones. Then Leighton left, and you kept going for a little bit longer, and then Troy Green was getting up there, and then but you always had guys, but Victoria, man, you went down to Victoria, or they come up here and they were always in the top 5.
And to win that,
very, very strong
to
Victoria.
win that national title was huge.
That was to travel to the different tracks for us because we didn't have a huge budget. There was no spare engines. We kind of packed the toolbox.
The old Pantech?
No, it wasn't even a Pantech in those days, mate. I had a Commodore Ute. We dragged around race car and around Australia. So it's that was a do in those days. We nearly ended up upside down the Hume Highway at one stage, and a few other bits and pieces. We were getting there's half the challenge.
Always
but
always is. Yeah.
You go on the tracks, learning them because you didn't have time to go and practice. When you kind of turned up, fronted up on Friday, got your 3 sessions, and had to be as fast as you could all weekend. And it was one of those things we always went there with the mentality of working all weekend at it. And a bit like you're saying, we end goal by the end of the weekend for the trophy race. And we ended up, fortunately, and things would go right. We had some good results. We had a couple of weekends where things didn't go away. We got crashed out, stuff like that. But you still just had to. It was a bit like the year before. You kind of got to keep trying to drag those points in. When it's a bad day, you've really, really got to make the most of what you got and try and get home with something. So it's yeah.
Oh, there you go.
It's a bad day.
Yeah, that wasn't a.
That was one love, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Ian's at Bathurst.
Bathurst, wasn't it?
Up going up the hill.
Yeah, going up the hill first lap on Saturday morning.
Yes.
We'd actually been.
Funny you mentioned that.
We'd qualified fastest on the Friday. I've been
HQ
fastest in it,
Xtra
and then
one, did you?
Wow.
Oh, you did.
that was Ian. Poor old Ian had missed. Ian had a similar thing to me. He'd med a gear off the start and had fallen back and was trying to work his way back through a couple.
That was the Geminis, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was with the Geminis, and
Actually, I do have a lot of raw footage. I have footage of that somewhere. I've got to find it. I was sitting behind and I seen it all happen right in front of me.
Yeah, unfortunately for Ian, when it got turned into the wall, it found there was like an overlap at that point in the wall, and he went into the overlap and it just fired the car back straight out the middle of the field sort of thing. I remember at the time it was probably actually one of the,
It was up
It's a bad
past
one.
it was a big shunt, and it was at the time hands devices weren't compulsory, and it was one of the things that made me actually go out and
Get one.
get one at the time after watching the in-car from it. So
What's it called?
You're saying about you did travel around the country doing different race meetings, or basically all around the country. That's another question we normally ask is what I know maybe it is Bathurst, but most people's is Bathurst. But what's your favourite track?
Bathurst is definitely like everybody. It's always the
It
number
is.
one. To be honest, mate, even with the mileage I've done, like Phillip Island was fast and really good, but Oran Park, for me, out of all those, was a place where you didn't have to have the most amount of granite of everybody,
Absolutely.
but if you had the car working right on the day and you could wring its neck and you could find those extra tenths you needed sometimes at a place like that, whereas circuits like Eastern Creek are a little bit harder. It's more flowing and it's hard. It's a different style of driving required to it.
Yep.
And it was, Oran Park was definitely a favourite. I still miss it to
tell
now, mate. I drive past there every now and then.
Well, I
and
drive
it's,
past there all the time.
all the time, and
I
it's,
love
yeah,
it, mate. It was
it's-
definitely my favourite
If
too.
you ever
Yeah.
get a chance and you get someone says, let's go to the bend, get the mate, that
Yeah.
that is definitely a bucket
Yeah.
list.
But again, I think it's more. It is a long flowing.
Depends, I find.
track.
You get the circuits with that off Canberra corners and undulation. That's
Just over
where
the
it
bridge,
starts to.
like you just tap
Yeah.
it and you're just sort of feeding it into it. And you know when it's right
Yeah.
because it just grips on the exit and it just grabs the ripple strip and pulls you around the
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah.
And
That's
even
it. Like Sutton's was always like you had to be top gear or second gear, and if you want to run top, you'd turn you to take the top off the concrete. And it was just one of those tracks where, like I say, you could look after the car with the old man coming back to you after one of the sessions, and the cross member had a gouge. Or I'd got it wrong at Sutton. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, well, maybe we can find 3/10, or I can not find 3/10. What do you want to do? Like, I'm not going to get it right every time, sadly, but it's
But as you're saying, like, South Australia's got the bend now. Victoria's got Phillip Island. New South Wales has got the Bathurst. They're the three now really going to be the tracks, the main big tracks. And then you've still got all your little tracks. So.
Toowoomba's getting built. So there's a new track in Toowoomba that's getting done.
Really?
Yep, brand new circuit. Will Power's going to be involved in it.
Oh, cool.
On a consultancy sort of side
Yep.
of things, but that's going to be a big thing. So that's
Yep.
going to be huge.
Is there the Bathurst track still going
Yep.
ahead? That spare a track at
Yep,
Bathurst?
yep.
That
gonna
it's
happen.
supposed to be a track that you'd be able to race at instead of using the main track?
yeah, I think
That's the
it's
theory behind it. They want to use some of the complex down the bottom as well because all the infrastructure
Okay.
is sort of there. So depending on the school of thought, there's some drafts that came out for it
Cool.
as well. You got Newcastle still, or Raymond Terrace has still got a circuit up there that's getting increasingly close to be able to sort of compete on.
Pheasant's
Circuit
Wood
Italia.
is-
New
Being
track at Pakenham. That's yeah.
The extended.
Pakenham. Pakenham are getting a big track. So look, again, so this look, the future's looking good if we can
good
keep our
economy,
cars there. Look, you know, I mean, next year's going to be massive, really. So, mate, like I said, but it was great to see you at HQ too. So, mate,
good to be back, mate.
Another question for you quickly, Kieran. Your favourite person to rate, or your fiercest competitor, or probably both? Who was your favourite and who was your fiercest competitor? Who would you just think, this place,
Leighton's the one that comes
Yeah,
to
I was
mind,
going to
mate.
say, I knew it.
06, we raced door handle to door handle all year pretty much, and
Yeah.
a lot of times he had my measure in the end. We got a bit lucky at the start of the year. He had some unfortunate circumstances at the first round, and we managed to kind of make the most of that and the way the point score was. And to be fair, we'd gone into the year, knew we had to finish every race. He couldn't have an error, and we sort of capitalised on that at the start. And he won more races than I did at the end of the year and had more speed, but just we managed to. I think
It's a championship, mate. That's what
I don't think I finished off the podium in any race all year, kind of thing. And it's it was a good solid year, and we weren't having engine dramas and stuff like. Kept the car in one piece, and that was sort of the trick to it in the air. But yeah, we had some really cracking battles. There's a photo of Leighton I remember at Oran Park, and I saw it a little while ago, and he's run off. He's sort of off in the sand trap at the exit of the old Turn 1 there.
Oh yeah.
And if you look in the back of the photo, I'm about 2 metres behind him back on the inside. The two of us were leading.
Both went off.
Mate, I remember going in there in the boot of it, and I chased him in there and watching the left front brake lock, thinking, oh, cool, I've got you. And then went, oh, no, I've gone too deep as well. And both of us just fired straight off the end of Turn 1.
I'll
But it was
break
just,
after he breaks.
we were both just on absolute. Yeah, but that's how we did it, mate. And then we both kind of got back on together. And then I remember coming up at it. We were side by side at a Sutton's last lap kind of deal over the dog leg, and it was
back
just
of the car.
yeah, it was just and never put a mark on either car. I think we then went to Queensland the following year for the Nationals, which was a part of that national series at the time. And him and I kind of got beaten up massively by the, no offence to the Queensland guys at the time, but there was a little bit of argy-bargy going on for some of the, what felt like some of the interstate guys, whether it was or wasn't, that's how it worked out. And I got cannoned in the side earlier in the weekend and stuff like that, and we got to the final, and I sort of said late, and look, we need to work together because we're not going to get far here from, I think we were 10th or 12th, we were starting in it, and we sort of shook hands, and to his credit, he was man of his word. And I said to him at the time, I said, I think I've got more pace. If we're stuck together, if you can let me go, give me 2 laps. If I can't get away, I'll get back in behind you and we'll just go together kind of thing. And did that. I couldn't get away, mate. I didn't have the speed in the final, so I dropped back in and we actually started bump drafting and pushing and we got ourselves, I think he finished 3rd in the end, I finished 5th on a restart. So that was, yeah. But yeah, as a really good racer and a great competitor. So.
Excellent. Yeah, so there you go, Benny Simpson. He remembers it, so there you go. Shake and bake, as Shake and bake Queensland Nationals. There you go.
That's what he's talking about, mate. I think when I say bump draft, I'm pretty sure he nearly broke his neck. I hit him that hard boot on the back straight. He remembers the seat going in. I think the at-time national president, Dale Ube, was about 5 car lengths in front of us, and Leighton managed to drive straight down the inside into the next corner and come that fast. So, yeah, it went. It was the cars weren't real flash by the end of the weekend anyway, so we were using what we had.
One of the first race meetings I had at Eastern Creek, Greeny, Pete Jr., he was in front of me and he's waving me, he's going, come on, and I'm going up behind, so I thought, oh yeah, no worries. But I was on the side. So I've gone, yeah, bang, hit him, and he's gone like that. I put him into the water, poor bastard. I backed off and he's gone all like this, and he's come up.
Why did that again?
Yeah, I said to him, I said, what happened? Were you telling me to hit you? He said, yeah, but full of names on you, idiot. I go, oh, sorry, mate, I didn't know.
I didn't know.
Well, you learn, don't you? So, the poor junior, I nearly put him into the car park underneath the grandstand at Eastern Creek. But you live and learn. But look, racing. Here we go. We've got Leighton 13 wins. Ricardo, mate. How good's Price's Imaging? Ricardo Bevenuti. Leighton 13 wins. 1 second. Pilco 5 wins and 12 seconds and 1/3.
Yeah.
There you go. And you clinched the championship.
Yeah, it was enough at the time to get home. So.
There was 150 points per round then, wasn't it? Is that what happened?
Yeah, those days, there used to only be 2 points per spot kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think Leighton had one where the first round, he in a sand trap or something, bro. I can't remember now, but he finished sort of down the order, but it was enough. Because I'd been so consistent. Big enough gap for me to kind of, he was coming at the end, but we managed to hold on kind of. It was last race, last lap kind of deal. We had to get home in the right spot to make it happen. So
That
it was,
said, the irony is that he won the Ute Championship for the same thing at Oran Park, like within a point sort of thing, and was weighing it up. And look, some of the best championships.
you know what it's like, mate, when the pressure's on those ones. It's,
Absolutely.
yeah.
It was the last race at Oran Park where Leighton won the Ute Series too.
Yeah, we spoke that it was on the show. That
The second thing, yeah. So all he had to do was finish 7th or above like that. Or
Kim
something
Jane
like that,
was going for.
It wasn't as easy as that.
Was it Richardson? No, what's his name?
Kim Jane, was it?
Nah, yeah, Jane. Was it Jane?
Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah, Kim Jane, yeah. And anyway, mate, we were there cheering him on and it was good.
Sad to
So it's
say.
good. We've got to move on.
Yep, we've got to move on.
What, you calling it?
No,
Yeah.
I can hear them calling your name for your birthday.
It's a cake.
Hey,
Cake.
my wife seen me for 5 minutes and called me an idiot. Happy birthday. That was it. Yeah, Kim Jane, there you go, Leighton. Again, mate, thank you very much for coming on the show. It's a pleasure having you on here.
Really good, mate. Yeah.
What
Thanks
you
for
did
jumping
me.
back in.
What you haven't offered his legitimate, heartfelt, genuine.
Congratulations.
It was nice to come back and get a win, mate.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Rob.
Yep. Well done, runner-up.
Bottle of
Second
Nets.
place.
Bottle of
On
Nets
the
coming.
podium.
So, for those who don't know, we had a bet between us that who would be the first HQ Extra car in the HQ Extra Cup, which we'll talk about later because I'm sure these two are not going to let me down, let me forget it. So, unfortunately, they come away with the win. For me, it's unfortunately great for them. But it was great to see him in the car. It was great to have Jeff Barber, Daney, Morky, Numbnuts, Go Nuts, Go Nuts Crazy Racing. It was great, the whole thing, which we're going to talk about. But look, guys, don't forget coming up, because we are going to wrap it up now. Don't forget Queensland, 1 hour, 23rd, 24th, 25th of October coming up. 1 hour big event. If you can get there, go and race. Tassie, the week after that, the 31st of October, 1st of November, the Bend. If you can't get to there, and you definitely can get to the Bend. So, guys, if you can throw a couple of cars on the trailers, get down to the Bend and race down there. New South Wales has got a meeting on the 13th of November, a couple of weeks after. I believe, not quote me on this, but might be a day-nighter. Is that correct? Is that a possibility?
Anything's a possibility. Got the lights, so
We've got lights there at
Why not?
Eastern Creek now, so it might
and
be
they run
a
practice
day-night.
nights on Tuesdays.
Yeah, Tuesday track
So,
night, they call it.
Yeah,
So,
that'd be great fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Get back to a day
Awesome.
night.
Did you race during the night?
Oran Park. I did
Did you do
one.
that? Yeah.
One Oran Park meeting
Oh,
in the
man,
night.
racing the night. I wasn't
Go-karts,
racing.
go-karts in I've not been in the car at night, but go-karts at night just sing and I
HQ's sing it in the night time too, mate. Don't you worry.
Not wait, cold
That'd be,
tyres and
that'd be gold. It'd be like you could probably run a full day, full weekend in a day there because if
I
you
think
run it
that's-
into night.
I think that's
Well, that's all we used to do on Park. Used to
Well-
qualify at sort of lunchtime. They used to have like the open wheel guys there
Yeah.
during the day, like once
Yep.
that'd go, and then you do 1 or 2 races a day, and then get 2 races of a night kind of thing. And
It'd be great. It'd be a
Well, that's the
lovely
plan. That is the
twilight.
plan at the moment because with the COVID thing, we only have one-day meetings now, and
through cams anyway.
with cams, with cams, and they're going to run through into the night at Sydney Motorsport.
The only bad thing about Eastern Creek is when the sun's going down. Now that daylight saving starts, the sun coming down,
Oh, down the
it's
main
going down the straight. Man, turning into turn one. If that and that's
it's always
That's
been
fine.
You make sure you got a clean window and a clean visor, mate.
Yeah.
That definitely helps.
a bit of race
you
tape
might
on
not
the
have
visor.
clean, you might not have
tell
clean
us.
pants if you
Clean
can't
undies.
see, but yeah, clean undies. But
That was from the W green for you.
exactly.
So I don't need-
We'll get a bit more information on what's happening with Tassie as it comes to hand. Thank you, Scotty, for letting us know. We did. Information was passed on along. We spoke about it a long time ago. Hadn't heard much about it. So early January, Tassie is going to be massive if it happens. It goes ahead. Don't forget Victorian 4 hour. If that can go ahead, please let's support that. Ray Jarno is going to get us information as soon as we know. Everyone's jumping in. Stoopy's doing his best. Everyone's doing their best. All the
If it goes ahead, try and get there because I'm telling you, you will not regret it.
exactly.
It is one hell of a meeting.
Two quick things. Shout out if people in the States can try and get us as much information as possible, it'll make a difference. And we really sort of need that help, and we can sort of help promote the States more if we can sort of get some footage and things like that.
Yeah.
So drop us a line, let us know what's going on, send us some results. If you've got race results as well, we can even post them up. We're happy to sort of do any of that, but if we don't
Absolutely.
get it, we can't use it, and some states are a little bit more proactive than others, and we want to try and lift the game for everyone. We're lucky that we've got who we have in the state that helps us. We don't do it all ourselves, but we've got Ricardo and a lot of guys that help us too. The second thing is I've had a bit of a look on Facebook, and there's a lot of people that love us. Clearly, we know who they are. But it's
Hollywood, mate.
It's all about you, Oliver.
If you can like us, like the page on Facebook, because there's a lot of people that I know that haven't liked it, might have thought that they have. Liking posts is different to liking the page. So if you can just make a bit of an effort to try and sort of do that. We're aiming for 2,000, which is double the amount of what we had sort of this time last year. So.
yeah, we started off with 200 April last year.
Yeah.
So we're now nearly 2,000 for a single category. I still can't believe no other categories doing what we're doing. Obviously, it goes to show what kind of passion we have for our category. We all have full-time jobs. This is a side thing that we do. We all have families, again, so, we're not getting paid any money to do this. The sponsors help out, pay for equipment and get us to here and there. Don't get me wrong. We love the sponsors and everything, but it's something we do and passionate about. But any help you can give, like I said, with footage, results, anything that you think that would help, notifications, anything. But please, like, share. Let's get it out there. Let's make HQs good because next year, 50 years of HQs.
It's going to be
30, it's over 30 years of racing, and we are pushing to do big and better things. So I can't wait for that.
Keep going.
Keep going, exactly. A massive big shout out to our sponsors there, Bucko.
Yeah, mate. Osborne's Transport, Harvey's Towing and Mechanical, CNR International, Ready Strip, Asset Plumbing, Kerway Asphalt, Command Digital Signage, Hands On First Aid, and our newest sponsor, Equity View Construction Group. Thank you so much, guys. Without you, it doesn't happen. So really appreciate it.
Thanks, special guest Kieran.
Yeah, good to have you on, mate.
Thank you for having me,
Really
boys.
good.
It's
Great to see you back at HQ the other weekend. It was fantastic, mate. Really
good
good.
back, mate.
Rob behind the desk, trying to get his 2 bobs worth when he could, being an amateur tonight.
Came second, did you?
yeah.
Sorry.
No one remembers who comes second.
First loser, right?
First loser.
First loser. Thanks, Mick,
So
from
thanks.
Chris Mick, for coming along too.
for
Appreciate it,
watching
mate.
there, behind the scenes, and Jeffro, back on. I hope his shoulder's getting better. You can't see him. He's a little nuggety bloke behind here, just
With one wing.
with one wing. Yeah, that's it. He's been clipped. Linda's clipped him. He's not allowed to do anything. Again, mate, thank you everybody for watching. Let's see if he knows the catch right. Does he know?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
All right. Well, we sign off the show every week.
It's on the back of my shirt. Not
Yeah,
the front.
that's right, yeah.
I occasionally
So-
tune in.
I reckon he might know it.
So you actually watch our show? Oh, cool.
He's probably working on the lead.
Mate,
I was going to say, when I'm working on the car in the garage, I've got to go, mate. So.
It was a dead set pleasure having you on here, mate. Thanks for making the time, jumping on board. Bucko, get well, keep getting healing. You're looking well, mate. Thank
Cheers,
you very
buddy.
much. Ian, keep doing the great things you're doing behind the scenes. You're the phone warrior. Doesn't lift a thing. Heavy stuff is just crap with, but phone warrior and everything else, brilliant.
It's a chat.
You keep that posture right.
He's going to posture school next year and get it right.
Eloquency.
But again, thank you very much. And just remember, if it ain't pinging,
Keep it singing.
Well done.
Nice.